Headlines flash worldwide. U.S. carrier strike group on high alert near Reed Bank, a flashpoint in the South China Sea that has drawn the eyes of the world. The presence of American warships signals a dramatic escalation, raising concerns about the possibility of confrontation in these contested waters. Chinese Coast Guard vessels shadow Philippine patrols, their imposing silhouettes a constant reminder of Beijing's determination to assert its claims. Tensions simmer as these ships play a dangerous game of cat and mouse, sometimes coming perilously close to direct confrontation. Manila issues stern warnings over what it calls the illegal presence of foreign vessels in its waters. Philippine officials, under mounting domestic pressure, vow to defend their sovereignty and protect their fishermen, who rely on these seas for their livelihoods. The South China Sea is a powder keg, with warships from multiple nations maneuvering in close quarters. Every move is scrutinized by global powers, each wary of a miscalculation that could spark a wider conflict. At the heart of this standoff is not just a patch of ocean, but a massive, untapped natural gas field, potentially a game-changer for the Philippines. The Reed Bank's resources could transform the nation's energy future, making it a prize worth fighting for. The Philippines sees this as its sovereign right and economic salvation. But powerful neighbors have their own ambitions. The struggle is not just about territory, but about national pride and the promise of prosperity. The U.S. Navy's increased presence has added a new layer to this already volatile situation. American patrols are meant to reassure allies and deter aggression, but they also risk provoking unintended incidents. Filipino fishermen see foreign warships as a daily reminder of risk. Pentagon strategists see a test of alliances and free navigation. For ordinary people, the standoff means uncertainty and fear, while for military planners, it's a high-stakes chess match. For Beijing, it's about defending sweeping maritime claims and projecting power far from its shores. China's leaders frame their actions as protecting national interests, even as critics accuse them of bullying smaller neighbors. The world watches, wondering if diplomacy will prevail, or if tensions will finally boil over. Every new incident is analyzed for signs of escalation or hope for dialogue. This is more than a territorial dispute. It's about energy security, international law, and the future of the Indo-Pacific. The outcome will set precedents for how nations resolve disputes over vital resources. The stakes are enormous, not just for the countries involved, but for the global economy that depends on these waters. Over a third of the world's maritime trade passes through the South China Sea, making stability here crucial for everyone. The ships are visible, but the real conflict is about control over resources and the rules that govern the seas. Behind closed doors, diplomats and military leaders debate the future of international order. The outcome here could reshape the region's balance of power. Alliances are tested, and the choices made now will echo for generations. For the Philippines, the Reed Bank is a lifeline. For others, it's a strategic prize. The competition for these resources is fierce, and the risks of miscalculation are growing. The world holds its breath as the drama unfolds, each day bringing new developments and raising the stakes even higher. The next move could change everything. In these tense waters, a single decision could tip the balance between peace and conflict. Beneath the shimmering waters of the Reed Bank lies a geological treasure of immense proportions, hidden for millions of years beneath the seafloor. Here, trillions of cubic feet of natural gas are trapped, an energy reserve valued at up to $26 trillion, a sum that could reshape the destiny of an entire nation. For the Philippines, this isn't just a story of untapped wealth, it's the key to true energy independence, a chance to break free from the cycle of costly imports and transform the economy for generations to come. The Sampaguita gas field alone could power entire cities, fuel thriving industries, and provide opportunities that lift millions of Filipinos out of poverty, giving hope to families across the archipelago. Imagine a future where the Philippines no longer relies on expensive imported fuels, where clean, homegrown energy keeps the lights on and the air clear in every home and business. This vast resource could fund national development for decades, creating thousands of jobs, building new infrastructure, and driving economic growth that benefits every Filipino. The technical challenge isn't the problem. Modern drilling technology can reach these depths, and Filipino engineers are ready to take on the task. The real obstacle is geopolitical. Overlapping claims, international disputes, and the ever-present threat of foreign interference make every step forward a delicate, balancing act. For years, the dream of tapping this immense wealth has been stalled by political risk, regional tension, and the uncertainty of international law. The government in Manila knows that developing Sampaguita would change the country's trajectory, offering a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to secure the nation's future. It's a strategic asset that could stabilize the economy, attract global investment, and reduce dependence on volatile energy imports. But every step forward is met with pressure from powerful neighbors, making progress slow and uncertain. The stakes are high, and the prize is within reach. If the Philippines can secure its claim and protect its interests in these contested waters, the Reed Bank is more than just a resource. It represents the nation's hopes, dreams, and the promise of a brighter future for all Filipinos. The world is watching closely to see if the Philippines can finally unlock its $26 trillion energy lifeline and claim its place as a true energy power in the region. The Philippines faces an energy crisis as its main gas source, Malampaya, nears depletion. Without a replacement, the country risks higher electricity prices and greater vulnerability to global energy shocks. The Sampaguita gas field is seen as the answer, a domestic long-term solution to power the nation. Its reserves could replace Malampaya and supply energy for generations, stabilizing prices and reducing import dependency. Developing Sampaguita means more jobs, investment, and a stronger economy. For ordinary Filipinos, it promises affordable power and new opportunities. Energy security isn't just about economics, it's about national stability. The ripple effects would be felt across the country, attracting investment and boosting industries. The future of over 115 million Filipinos could hinge on this single project. Sampaguita is the promise of a brighter, more secure future. The Reed Bank's potential has been known for decades, but political and security risks have kept it untapped. Overlapping territorial claims, especially China's sweeping assertions, have scared off investors and stalled development. Joint development talks with China have repeatedly failed, bogged down by legal and sovereignty disputes. Attempts to assert Philippine rights have been met with intimidation at sea. The result? Billions in lost revenue and prolonged dependence on imported fuels. Frustration grows as the window of opportunity narrows with Malampaya's decline. The story of Sampaguita is a lesson in how geopolitics can paralyze progress. The resource sits just out of reach, trapped by conflict and uncertainty. The nation waits, hoping for a breakthrough that will finally unlock its greatest asset. China's sweeping 9-line claim covers nearly the entire South China Sea, overlapping the Philippines' legal economic zone. To enforce its claims, China uses Coast Guard and maritime militia to harass and block other nations' vessels. Philippine ships face water cannons, blockades, and constant intimidation in their own waters. In 2016, an international tribunal ruled against China's claims, affirming Philippine rights, but Beijing rejected the decision. Since then, China has ramped up its presence, building artificial islands and ignoring international law. For energy companies, the risk of Chinese interference makes investment nearly impossible. The threat of confrontation keeps the $26 trillion prize locked beneath the sea. Without credible security guarantees, the Reed Bank remains a no-go zone. China's actions have turned a legal victory into a practical stalemate. The standoff continues, with the world watching for the next move. The deadlock in the South China Sea shifted dramatically when the U.S. Navy ramped up its presence in the region, signaling a new era of engagement and commitment. American and Philippine naval forces began conducting regular joint patrols and freedom of navigation operations, sending a powerful message of unity and resolve to the world. The unmistakable sight of American warships patrolling these contested waters serves as a clear warning. The United States stands firmly behind its ally, the Philippines, in the face of mounting regional tensions. This visible show of force not only deters potential aggression, but also gives Manila the confidence to pursue the development of the Sampaguita gas field, a vital energy resource. The U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty has been clarified to explicitly cover any attacks in the South China Sea, strengthening the alliance's legal and military foundation. This newfound clarity has put real teeth into the alliance, making it a credible deterrent against China's gray zone tactics and ambiguous provocations. The American presence isn't about starting a conflict. Rather, it's about preventing one and maintaining stability in these vital waters. For the Philippines, this support is a chance to turn long-held energy dreams into reality, unlocking economic growth and energy security. The U.S. shield raises the cost of interference for any would-be aggressor, making development projects more feasible and less risky for Manila. Warships on the horizon now symbolize not just military might, but a renewed alliance and a new chapter in the ongoing struggle for control and influence in the region. The balance of power has undoubtedly shifted, but the risks and uncertainties of confrontation remain ever present. The world watches closely as the US and the Philippines test the limits of deterrence, shaping the future of the South China Sea and the broader Indo-Pacific. The US naval presence is about more than just energy. It's about defending the rules-based international order. The South China Sea is a vital artery for global trade. Freedom of navigation is a global interest. China's rejection of international law threatens the system that keeps the seas open and stable. The US supports the Philippines' right to develop its resources, reinforcing that law, not force, should govern disputes. If powerful nations can ignore legal rulings, the entire framework of international relations is at risk. The standoff at Reed Bank is a test of whether global norms still hold. The outcome will send a message to the world about the future of international order. The fate of Sampaguita is now tied to the fate of the rules that govern the seas. US naval support empowers the Philippines but also raises the stakes in the South China Sea. The region is now more militarized, increasing the risk of accidents or escalation. A single miscalculation could trigger a major conflict between superpowers. ASEAN nations are divided. Some lean on the US, others hesitate due to economic ties with China. The Philippines walks a tightrope, balancing economic opportunity with the dangers of great power rivalry. The rewards are immense, but so are the risks. Regional unity is threatened as nations are forced to choose sides. The hope is that deterrence will prevent conflict, not provoke it. Stability is the goal, but the path is fraught with tension. The South China Sea remains one of the world's most dangerous flashpoints. The Philippines must assert its rights while avoiding conflict, moving forward with Sampaguita's development. Diplomacy remains essential. Open channels with Beijing and a binding code of conduct are crucial. The US security shield is a deterrent, not a license for recklessness. Environmental protection must go hand in hand with economic development. The South China Sea's fragile ecosystem is as vital as the gas beneath it. Responsible stewardship is key to a sustainable future. The Reed Bank encapsulates the challenge of balancing prosperity with peace. The Philippines, the US, and the region are learning to navigate superpower competition. A peaceful, lawful, and sustainable outcome would be a victory for all. The world is watching to see if cooperation can triumph over coercion.